You can just look at a housing price to income ratio today versus where it was before. 50% in Canada of people's income is going towards their housing costs, and in Toronto it was 110%.
Yeah.
Which again is one of those stats, right? It's like, what do you mean 100%? 110% is going towards their
How does
income.
that work?
That math ain't mathing.
This episode is brought to you by Shrubs.me.
It was a lot easier back then in some ways,
It was
but
just
their
closer.
money management was a lot better than the people because they grew up
Fine.
coming out of the war, baby boomers, parents coming from the Great Depression. They grew up in very frugal lifestyles.
Yeah.
Nothing, no electronics, no social media influence. Just like I'm happy with what I got. I got a pair of jeans, I got a hoodie, I got an old car. I don't have debt. Like that was their upbringing, and
Yeah.
that our upbringing. Anybody who ever held a cell phone, even if it was a little Nokia as a teenager, or anybody who was on a computer, you know what I mean, at some point in their life before they turned 18, even if the computer was MS DOS or whatever, you know what I mean, has had an influence on them that has put them in this fake world and has influenced us to live beyond our means. And I can see a huge difference in
There-
money management habits between
There's
that
that.
generation and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. There's
millennials, Gen Y, Gen Z. What are the other
that.
Gen? Gen X? Is that you? Are you Gen
I'm
X?
Gen X. Yeah.
Yeah, Gen
There's
X. Gen X is
definitely
not bad. They're in the
it's
middle.
it's it's when it's so easy, right? Like you press a button, you just tap a card. It's like you think about it later. It makes
Yeah.
it much easier to do those stupid things.
Yeah.
But I fine. It's the gap that's the problem. There was still
Yeah.
the same problems back then, for sure. There's still the same behaviors, no doubt. But the gap is so much bigger now that the problem is so much bigger because there's so
Of
many
course.
more people, right?
Agreed. And housing, like you can just look at a housing to income ratio, housing price to income ratio today versus where it was before, and you can see that this is definitely a big strain. Is that if I'm using what did we say last week? 50% in Canada of people's income is going towards their housing costs, and in Toronto it was 110%.
Yeah.
Which again is one of those stats, right? It's like, what do you mean 100%? 110% is going towards their
How does
income.
that work
That math ain't
exactly?
mathing. But the
Not
point
nothing.
is that the total amount of income versus the total amount of um, debt, that's what's being used. And we talked maybe it was because of not declared income and people also fake their income and all that kind of stuff. But long story short is it's a guide. It tells us if we use the same measures today as we calculated them 30 years ago, it just tells us what the difference is. And you can definitely see that housing is getting more and more out of reach. But housing prices are coming down. Are they coming back in January, Darryl? So what I would caution buyers who are listening, who are going to say, "Well, I'm going to be buying a property," they're going to see some activity coming into the market soon. They're going to see some people buying, and they're going to see houses and sold signs and maybe bidding wars and all that kind of stuff. But my prediction is it's going to be short-lived, and that when that stuff happens, take a seat, go back onto the sidelines, wait it out. You're not at risk of the market running away from you, and just hang out until you see things cool down again, and then you can go get back into the market after the rush falls out. And we got an interest rate announcement coming up next month too. So I wonder how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, I think this monster is led by the pre-con market, whether we want to believe it or not. I
Uh-huh.
think the resale market, I don't know. I mean, you're in it all the time. I think um that inventory can balance itself out a lot better. But I think we got major, like when you only sell, I don't know which one was right, 25 units or 52 units in Toronto in a whole month.
Pre-con. Yeah.
Like this is so bad. I don't think people
Nothing.
really realize. And by the time people
Zero.
actually do
Might as well
something
be
about
zero.
it,
Yeah.
well, it'll end up being
Somebody
zero,
like some big builder bought like personally three of his own units. And was
right?
just
His
like,
friends bought a
you know what I
couple
mean? Like,
units,
there you go. I
right?
got three units sold. Yeah, I mean, we sold three. We got three units this weekend, actually. It's pretty good.
But I think it's gonna be it's gonna again, I think we see a divergence again at some point. Like I think the resale market, not condos, but houses, like it
Yeah.
finds its way And I still can't imagine that there's too many pockets that have so many options, right? Like maybe something has two
Yeah,
houses, right?
a good product in a good neighborhood.
Like
Yeah,
I just don't think there's that much of it. So it's like at some point prices maybe they're there. Maybe that's what all those pre-approvals are. Is like people are like, you know what? I'm in strike range now.
yeah.
I'm anticipating another reduction in rate maybe, and like there's some affordability out
I'm
there.
ready to rock. I'm
I
ready to
just
rock.